and try our new Chili Crisp dumplings, paired with a premium beverage drink, like our new Strawberry Watermelon Lemonade Energy Refresher, both for just $5, only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A contract extension for Chargers defensive back Derwin James has made him the highest paid safety in NFL history. The four-time Pro Bowler agreed to an extension Tuesday night that will pay him $75.6 million over the next 3 years. $57.5 million of the deal is guaranteed. James is getting ready for his 8th season with the Chargers. The Oklahoma City Thunder are one win away from facing the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. OKC beat San Antonio Tuesday night, 127-114 to take a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference Finals. Game 6 is Thursday night in San Antonio. Boston's Joe Mazzulla was voted NBA Coach of the Year. Mazzulla led the Celtics to a 56-26 record in the regular season and the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. If I had a vote, it would have gone to Detroit's J.B. Bickerstaff. The Pistons were 60-22. They were the number 1 seed in the East. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man!
Sensational, yeah. What didn't I do for you, girl? And I know, and I know, and I know. I act the fool for you. Love like a riddle, yeah. Give me the clues for the riddle. Oh wow, oh, laugh just a little, yeah. Life's pretty sweet, can't be bitchy. Tell me love her to the morning, nah, nah, nah. Love her to the nighttime, nah, nah, nah. I don't get nobody, yeah. If you give me body, I won't tell nobody, yeah. Valley girl, she wears clothes. Now she want me pool skirt, so me pool skirt. Valley girl, she wears schools. You see, it's obvious, it's obvious.
KBLA Talk 1580, sensational indeed. He is a writer, a best-selling author. He's earned recognition from the U.S. Library of Congress, the National Film Registry there. His newest work, Reflections Beneath the Buckeye Trees, Notes from Life, as continuing his journey of turning struggle into hope. He's had a whole writing career in Hollywood, more than 3 decades in. He's written and consulted on 16 major studio projects, and his acclaimed film, Antwone Fisher, which was directed by Denzel Washington, earned a Writers Guild nomination for Best Original Screenplay, and a lot more than that. Antwone Fisher joins us in the studio. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning, good morning, good morning. So you, famously took your own life story
Yes.
and put it on the big screen. That sounds easy, but it's really not. I mean, anyone who's from LA knows that people have screenplays that they languish whole lifetimes trying to get them up on the big screen.
Yeah, it's true. I was lucky. Sometimes I feel like I was supposed to become a screenwriter. I was in the Navy. I got out of the Navy. I went to the Federal Law Enforcement Academy, and I was a prison guard. And then I didn't suit my personality to be a prison guard. So I went to Sony Pictures. I figured I could do that until I figured out what I wanted to do. But that's when I really found my family. In the movie, I wrote it as if I found them while I was in the Navy. I had to do that because if I got out of the Navy, then Denzel and all the characters couldn't be in the movie anymore. I had to have a new cast. So I told my boss I wanted to go and meet my family, and they were like, wow, what do you mean? When I came back, everybody wanted to talk to me, said I had an interesting story and might make for a good movie.
Which is wild. I mean, the reason I say that is because so many people write their life story and try to get it made into a movie, and 99% of those will never be films.
Well, I was probably the only guard on the lot that hadn't been to film school. When people get out of film school and they have aspirations to be actors and things like that, they get jobs on the lot, so
as
they can
security
get inside.
guards.
Yeah, security guard working in,
wow.
like Damon Wayans worked in the mailroom.
Okay, I didn't know that story. Okay.
Yeah, he was working in the mailroom, and then he got an office in the Capitol building. Yeah, so that's one way to be in the sphere of Hollywood.
Right, just get close, see what's going on.
Yes.
But you're saying the other people in that, you're talking about being overqualified. The other folks that were working security had film degrees.
Yes. John Singleton worked at Culver Studios. Kevin Costner worked at a studio, I think on Rosecrans, whatever that studio is. People, they get jobs, whatever job they can get, so they can get inside the studio a lot because there's walls around it and
yes,
guards keep you out. Yeah,
they sure do. In fact, a long time ago, I read Lauren Bacall's autobiography, and she said, today's security guard is tomorrow's studio chief.
Yeah.
So be careful how you talk to people. But I didn't take it quite that literally. Is what you're saying is that they've gone to film school and they're there for a reason.
Yes, and some of them went to the Foley stage. Gangsta's Paradise was produced and created, of course, with Pastime Paradise, but Doug Rashid, he was a guard with me there, and he kept going inside the Columbia Pictures, and he let the executive hear it, and they put it on Dangerous Minds, that movie, and of course now he's a record producer.
That's wild. But the other thing that I think is really amazing about your story, I mean, obviously your story that went on film is an amazing story, but since then you did make your story into a film, and then you were able to keep working in Hollywood. A lot of people one and done. They get that award, they get that, oh, we'll tell your story, especially black people, and then they're gone. They don't continue to work in the industry.
Well, when after I wrote Antwone Fisher, I wrote 41 drafts of it before it was sold. But I just thought that I was a writer then. I just thought that's what I was supposed to be doing. And then Todd Black, who was the producer of the film and the one that got me started in the business, he kept telling me, well, you have to get a job now, but don't stop writing. You keep writing. The more you write, the better you get. And then I got a job at Universal to write a story about the first Black Boy Scout troop called Scouts Honor, yeah. And I just been for over 30 years writing movies. They haven't made them, but my job is to write them. I get paid, so that's all that matters.
So you never went back to security or anything else like that?
But
your pen has taken you all this way.
That's right. But, I'm not above going back to security even now if I had to.
Shoot, I would too.
Yeah.
Tavis, you guys need... No, but I understand that. But it's just, I think it speaks to what you're saying about purpose.
Yes.
It speaks to what you're saying about purpose, because you didn't go to film school. You didn't have all these machinations and ideas. You just wrote, and you just kept writing a lot.
Yes, and I discovered I had a talent for writing, and that's the shame of if kids or young people not discovering something that they can do, a talent that they have, even if they don't make money at it, but they may enjoy doing it. It's a personal expression that probably would, make them feel more worthwhile, more connected to something bigger than the way they feel. Painting, drawing.
Yeah, both my parents are professional. They're not, they're in heaven. They were professional writers, and I grew up around a lot of writers. For me, it was always an intimidating thing to say, I'm a writer. Like, it's some big title that is reserved for Shakespeare and Langston Hughes. Did you ever feel that?
I still feel that way.
Really?
I'm like, oh, sure. Like, yeah, Antwone, you're a writer. I don't know. I feel like people, after you're gone, they have to tell you. They have to do that. It wasn't that easy in the beginning. I developed a method for getting through the process of writing, and especially for the studios. I'm dyslexic. It's hard for me to have a difficult time reading.
Oh, wow.
Even now. But a part of why I think that I became good at it, even as a little boy, I was a good listener, and I could tell how people were feeling based on how they were talking or the tone in their voice. I was a kid that was really observant, and I still am. It made me a good prison guard. It made me a good sailor, too.
You just didn't like those jobs.
Well,
you were good at them, but you didn't like them.
Well, being in the Navy was fine because I needed to be somewhere during those years, you know. And but the prison job was an easy job to get after being in the military, and so I needed to have somewhere and something to do. And I thought about that I would do a career as a federal corrections officer, but the inmates kept telling me, "Hey, what are you doing here?" Like they were asking me to leave, not because I was a tough guard, but they thought I could do better for myself somewhere else. I grew up in an institutional kind of way, and
in the foster system.
In the foster system, and then I was at the orphanage after foster, and then they put me in a reform school because they said no, they couldn't find anyone who would take a teenage boy. So I finished high school in reform school, and that's when I became homeless. After that, but I just. I kind of forgot what I was saying.
Well, we were talking about purpose because, you didn't go to film school, but you wrote a film, and then you kept writing and writing and writing and got better and better. I mean, 41 drafts, most people don't even fathom the amount of time and energy that it takes to do that. So to me, it sounds like all of these are signs pointing in the direction of Antwone Fisher. You're a writer.
Maybe I was supposed to do this.
Yeah.
Now, I feel like it's easy. Sometimes I tell my wife I'm a genius. I do that.
And she agrees, apparently.
She just look at me like she's accustomed to my humor. So, yeah. And so the producer, Todd Black, was paying me out of his pocket because the studio said he'd never wrote anything. So, he can't write his own. I kept insisting on writing it. So Todd said, well, I'll pay you, you could lead that job at security, and I have an office for you on the 20th Century Fox lot. And him and his partner, and Randa Haynes, they were my professors. And then Denzel came along about 6 years in.
Wow.
And then he and I worked together on it. And we did a lot of drafts over 10 years, but then they wound up using like the first draft.
Really?
Yeah.
That's wild too. But 2002, the film comes out.
Yes.
So that means this deal happens in the 90s.
Yes.
And you got to rewind a little to remember how unusual it was back then in the 90s for a black filmmaker, a writer, to get a film made at all, period.
Yeah.
Not to mention, as you say, someone who didn't have a so-called resume or, a degree from Yale film school. So so this was a big deal for him to say, I'll pay you. Here's an office.
Yes.
Write the script.
But I had started writing on legal pads, and I had given it to him, and he called me. He said, "I think you have writing talent." And then he says, he started taking me to the different studios. Well, he took me to Fox, where his deal was at, and then they said no because he's not a screenwriter. And then he said, "Well, I'll pay you myself." And he so cool. So when I got paid, I went to give him his, the money that he gave me for my living while I was writing, pay it back. But he said, "Oh, you earned it. Just keep it." And then, so it was really cool. I met a lot of cool people. There's a lot of very nice people in Hollywood, and then there's a lot of people who can be not so nice. But I'm fortunate that my pathway through has been really nice.
I love that. That's so great to hear. Antwone Fisher is my guest. He's still advocating for foster youth, and we'll talk about that and more when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
Where the overlooked become unmissable. This is KBLA Talk 1580.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Carpal tunnel syndrome, heart failure that doesn't improve with common medicines. These are some signs and symptoms associated with ATTR-CM, or the cardiomyopathy of ATTR amyloidosis, a serious heart condition with symptoms that get worse over time. Amvuttra, vutrisiran, is a prescription medicine given by a healthcare provider that treats ATTR-CM in adults to reduce heart-related death, hospital stays, and urgent visits. In a clinical study, Amvuttra was proven to help people live longer and have fewer heart-related hospital stays and urgent visits over 3 years compared to placebo. Amvuttra lowers the amount of vitamin A in your blood, which can affect vision. Other side effects include pain in the arms or legs, pain in the joints, and shortness of breath. These are not all the possible side effects of Amvuttra. For prescribing information, call 1-833-256-2748 or learn more at amvuttra.com. Ask your doctor about Amvuttra for ATTR-CM.
Let's celebrate.
Y'all did it!
Loving each other, needing each other.
Hey, Los Angeles. KBLA Talk 1580 is turning 5, and we're celebrating in a big way.
Oh my God!
Join us Friday, June 19th, Juneteenth, 4 to 7 p.m. at the Beehive for our 5th anniversary bash and Juneteenth celebration. We're talking surprise celebrity guests, a special presentation, and a major announcement you will not want to miss.
I can't wait to hear it.
Plus, live music, dancing, games, and enough food and drink to keep the party going.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Of course, you're welcome to bring your own picnic basket, blanket, and lawn chair. And the best part, it's completely free. But here's the thing. You've got to sign up in advance. Space is limited, so don't wait. Head to KBLA1580.com right now and lock in your spot. Friday, June 19th, The Beehive, KBLA Talk 1580. 5 years strong, and we're just getting started.
Happy anniversary, KBLA!
Yeah, man!
Thanks for waking up with Dominique DePrima on KBLA Talk 1580.
Antwone Fisher is my guest. You remember, of course, his first film, Antwone Fisher, very impactful. You told your own story. And what people may not know is you've been writing ever since. And you've been writing on a lot of projects, all kinds of different projects. Did you ever go back and go to film school? And or have you just been writing and writing and writing.
Writing and writing, writing. And then I taught writing at UCLA.
Wow. I mean, like I said, my dad, Amiri Baraka, he didn't go to writing school. My mom is a poet, Diana Prima. She didn't go to school, but all they did all day long was write. Do you ever get like writer's block, or I don't want to do this, goof off syndrome? I want to binge watch something instead of writing.
No, I never get writer's block. I haven't gotten it yet in all these years. And now my wife could tell you that she could leave early in the morning and I'd be sitting there writing, and when she come back it'd be dark and I'm still sitting there.
Wow.
A lot of people, they see me and they like this or that, but they never they don't understand how much time and how much focus it takes. And you could sit there in the morning and then look up when you're ready to get up and it's dark because you've been that focused. And sometimes, that's the kind of person you have to be to really develop those kind of writing skills. Not that I'm that good.
Well, apparently you are. I mean, you're 20-something years in, and you're still writing, still working. Your very first project, though, directed by Denzel Washington. So you've been writing this thing. They finally go back to something like the first draft. It's finally getting made, and here comes Denzel. That must have been pretty wild.
Yes, I met him, but when I was a guard at Sony, his deal was on the Sony lot, so I would see him coming into work. Denzel's a nice guy, so he always waved to all the guards. I never felt like he actually knew me, but once he was looking for a project to direct, and the producer sent the script to his agent, and then he wanted to meet me, and so we met at Preemie. It was a restaurant on Pico Boulevard. It's what we met, and then he asked me. He said, "Do you want me to direct it?" And I said, "Yes, I do." Yeah, and so we had not just began working together. Over time, we became friends.
That's awesome.
Yeah. I think I can call him friend.
Well, I mean, you're very unassuming, but we were talking a little bit off the mic, and I was thinking about this because you have an event. There's a screening of the film, Antwone Fisher, if you haven't seen it, or if you have, that's taking place in Santa Monica, and it's free. You guys are doing a talk back, and I can just imagine, in a way, it's almost like you became a spokesperson for, a voice for, or a representative of all of these people who have suffered in the foster care system, all of these people who are living with trauma, who are living with abuse that you shared, that you endured in your own life. How do you process that? Clearly you're still doing the work, because this project, the screening that we have coming up, is meant to help inform county people, LA County people, about foster care.
Yeah.
So how do you carry that? That's a heavy burden in a way, I would think.
Well, I never separated myself from having been a foster kid. It was always my reality as a kid, and I never let go. It's a part of my identity as a person, I feel. Not that once a foster care, always a foster kid, but you just think, like, I don't feel like some kind of hero or anything, but I just feel that, I know what it feels like to not feel like you belong, to be looked at as if you don't have as much value because you don't have a uncle or mother or father and all that kind of thing. And, I just think that if people, young people, foster kids, can see something in my story that will make them feel that, wow, if Antwone did all that and he did not have all of the help that one might think you need to get somewhere, I just think that it's not that suffering is worth it, but if it has to be for a reason, since it happened, all of this makes it worth something.
Yeah, that's well said. So it is National Foster Care Month, and in honor of that, the Antwone Fisher story is being shown, followed by a discussion, and it is with you. This is at Highways Performance Space in Santa Monica, which is 1651 18th Street, and it is going to be on Sunday at 3 o'clock, 3 to 7. There's going to be a reception. The screening's at 4. That's May 31st, and it's our Author Study Club. They do such great stuff, and Care Adoption Foster Care and LA Metro and Tracy Park, Lindsay Horvath, SEIU, a bunch of people bringing you here to tell your story. And here we are, 20-something years later. I imagine this kind of conversation happens all over the country when you speak and when you do public appearances.
Yes. And, particularly the organization that's putting all this on, I think, for me, I think Carter G. Woodson started this.
Yeah, our Author Study Club. Yeah, it was started by Carter G. Woodson, the founder of Black History.
When I started reading, and it was difficult. You remember Esselwan books?
I do. Yeah.
I remember when they were on Slauson, they didn't mind people just grabbing books and sitting down on the floor reading them. And one of the books would take me a long time to read, but I saw The Negro in Our History, and all right. And I don't know if I was that familiar with Carter G. Woodson at the time, but it was very interesting. And, that's when I really started thinking about, because I was in the Navy in foster care, I was so distracted, but I started learning about the Black experience more outside of my own experience being Black in America, the historical part. Yeah, which is very important, because I think a lot of times people think that they can't understand why there's so many Black children in foster care. But if you think about our history, Black families have been attacked for centuries. And even as recent as the 60s, remember, you couldn't get assistance if your husband was in the house, so that would break up the family. And before that, even further back. So sometimes I feel like we don't get the credit for being attacked in a way, which broke up the family, in which people talk about how many Black children are in foster care, but it's a lot of issues that happens in Black communities that are not of their own making, like the drug epidemic. We never brought any of that stuff to our communities, and that ultimately affects the entire family, including the children. The parents can't get stable, and then you go. So
and we still see that with the number. It's much more common. The data show it's much more common for Black children to be taken out of the house.
Yeah.
Than other families, other ethnicities. They give them more chances, more support to try to keep the family together. Our children are much more likely to be placed into the system. So I think you're right to point out that there's many reasons why we're so overrepresented in foster care. Antwone Fisher is my guest. We've got news, traffic, and sports right here, but then we're going to keep talking on KBLA Talk 1580.
She's reclaiming her time on KBLA Talk 1580. More First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Police in Southern California report several arrests during evacuations tied to a chemical incident. Garden Grove Police Chief Amir El-Fata.
One of those for looting, 6 for prowling. I will tell you our partners over at the DA's office are going to prosecute them to the fullest extent of the law.
Thousands of residents were forced from their homes near Garden Grove, though the evacuation zone has since been reduced. A federal court has blocked Alabama from using congressional maps in the 2026 elections, ruling they dilute Black voting power. Judges say the maps intentionally discriminate, setting up a possible Supreme Court decision on the issue. And producer and creator of Power, Courtney A. Kemp, is expanding her media footprint with a new multi-year deal at Apple TV+. Her new series, Nemesis, is already topping the charts globally as Kemp prepares to develop new exclusive content for Apple. Get BIN News now on demand 24/7 on the iHeartRadio app.
Head to Waba Grill for $5 happy hour weekdays after 3 p.m. and try our new chili crisp dumplings paired with a premium beverage drink like our new strawberry watermelon lemonade energy refresher, both for just $5 only at Waba Grill.
This is the KBLA Sports Minute with Ray Richardson.
A contract extension for Chargers defensive back Derwin James has made him the highest paid safety in NFL history. The four-time Pro Bowler agreed to an extension Tuesday night that will pay him $75.6 million over the next 3 years. $57.5 million of the deal is guaranteed. James is getting ready for his 8th season with the Chargers. The Oklahoma City Thunder are one win away from facing the New York Knicks in the NBA Finals. OKC beat San Antonio Tuesday night, 127-114 to take a 3-2 lead in the Western Conference Finals. Game 6 is Thursday night in San Antonio. Boston's Joe Mazzulla was voted NBA Coach of the Year. Mazzulla led the Celtics to a 56-26 record in the regular season and the number 2 seed in the Eastern Conference playoffs. If I had a vote, it would have gone to Detroit's J.B. Bickerstaff. The Pistons were 60-22. They were the number 1 seed in the East. No debates, no speculation, just the info you need. That's your KBLA Sports Minute. I'm Ray Richardson on KBLA Talk 1580.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Let's be real. For too long, too many of our students have sat in overcrowded classrooms in underfunded public schools.
But as head of the San Diego School Board, Richard Barrera changed that.
Under Barrera's leadership, student literacy rose from the state average all the way to number 1 among major urban school districts. Barrera led the way for smaller classrooms and for teachers to be paid what they're worth.
Barrera funded more counselors and mental health services, and community schools that teach real-world skills for future jobs.
A community organizer who became an education leader to fight for our kids. The only candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Backed by the 310,000 classroom educators of the California Teachers Association. Vote Democrat Richard Barrera for State Superintendent.
Ad paid for by California Teachers Association Independent Expenditure Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
When did watching TV go from a way to relax to a complicated chore? Well, if you're sick of huge cable bills or endlessly searching for the show everyone's talking about, then welcome to Philo. Philo's the streaming service that respects both your time and your wallet, without needing to cut the stuff you actually love to watch. This means live TV for more than 70 channels like Hallmark, History, A&E, and Lifetime, plus a huge library of blockbuster movies and classic shows, and an easy-to-use unlimited DVR that lets you save anything you want and skip all the ads when you watch. The best part? You get all this for just $25 a month when you sign up at Philo.tv. No hidden fees, no long contracts, just a genuinely great deal. And new users can try it completely free for 7 days. So head to Philo.tv, that's PHILO.tv, and experience a better way to TV. Subscriptions auto-renew at monthly rate plus applicable taxes. Cancel anytime. See terms at Philo.tv.
KBLA Talk 1580. We've got a lot to talk about.
KBLA Talk 1580, connecting you with services and solutions. 10 Toes In serves as a mentorship and domestic violence prevention program. They support, educate, and empower couples during and after incarceration. They assist male returning citizens to re-enter society successfully and to help them maintain a healthy relationship with their romantic partner. They offer a mentorship support group for formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In teaches its Intimate Relationships 101 curriculum at male prisons throughout the state of California. They host sister support group meetings for women who are intimately involved with incarcerated and formerly incarcerated men. 10 Toes In is a 501c3 nonprofit organization. To access their services or make a donation, please visit them online at 10toesin.org or find them on Facebook or Instagram. They are healing lives through relationships. This is a community call to action from KBLA Talk 1580.
Find a righteous rage and don't be afraid to say what you see. We're KBLA Talk 1580.
Antwone Fisher is here. He is an advocate for foster youth as a former foster youth himself, and also a very successful writer here in Hollywood. We're broadcasting from Crenshaw. It's not quite Hollywood, but it's L.A.
If you sneeze, you'll be there.
It's right. People don't know you can see the Hollywood sign from Crenshaw. But you're going to be at Highways in Santa Monica on Sunday, 3 to 7, film screening, reception, and then you're signing your new book.
Yes.
Tell me about the new book.
Okay. The new book is called Reflections Beneath the Buckeye Trees. And I'm from Ohio, and a Buckeye tree is the state tree. And when I was a kid, you know, I used to love to pick up the seeds that they produce in the fall, and I would make bubbles with it. I would do all kind of things. You could make a necklace with it, you know. And I always liked the Buckeye tree. And so I'm writing about my own life. There's some things that I wrote in Finding Fish. They were correct, but my feelings have changed as I've grown older. You know, you get to a place where you see things, you know, after having kids, you see things a little differently. You start to realize how difficult life can be to raise a family. And my foster parents were from the rural South and from another time. Even when I was a foster kid with them, they were old enough to probably be my grandparents.
Okay, so not just another generation, maybe two back.
Yeah. And so you know, your heart softens. You know, the treatment, it was all not good. But you get to a place in life when you start to understand that you never know what people have gone through themselves. And I just got to a place. I was just talking to my wife one day, and she said, wow, I never heard you talk about them like that. They were pretty industrious. They came from the rural South and made a middle-class living for themselves. And now that I understand that, you know, despite all the other things that went wrong.
To be clear, abuse and neglect.
And all of that.
Pretty extreme stuff,
Yeah, it's pretty extreme. And the things that they allowed that they should have known about, I just feel that I must have forgiven them without realizing it.
That's really amazing. I mean, it's powerful, right? Forgiveness is medicine.
Sometimes, you know, if somebody sock you in the eye and they go, oh, you got to forgive me, please forgive me. And I think that's so unfair to ask somebody who has a fat eye to forgive you, right? The pain is there, right? And even when it goes down, the memory of it. But if you get enough time behind you, and that's why I like to use the word reflections, because I'm reflecting on my story. And as I've grown, you know, of course, there are things that happen in this world within our community that I feel that I should comment on, and just things that I've observed and other stories that happened after I was a foster kid that I, you know, introduced the world to my younger life. And so, reflections beneath the Buckeye trees.
Well, the other thing is, some people get stuck in a moment. They get stuck in trauma, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we talk so much more about trauma now than we did when you were writing your first screenplay. We talk about it a lot, trauma-informed care, how trauma impacts our mental, physical health. But if you get stuck there, you know, then you carry that your whole life. It seems like if you said you've forgiven them without even realizing that you forgave them, you must be doing some work, whether it's through therapy or whether it's through your writing or however you're doing it, that's helping you not be stuck in your trauma.
Well, I wrote a movie about it.
Yeah.
I wrote a best-selling book about it,
Right.
and I've been traveling around the country, speaking on behalf of foster kids, and also talking about it around the country. In all these years, it's therapeutic, you know. Yeah, I'm doing well, maybe I need to talk about that. Yeah.
Oh man, you give us a tease and don't tell us.
Okay, I'll tell you a little bit.
Okay.
When Bruce Willis, did you know Bruce Willis was the spokesperson for foster care and adoption during the Bush years?
I did not.
Yes, and he was really into it, and I used to wonder, like, why is he doing this? I was thinking, but he had a heart for foster kids and kids he felt should need to be adopted. So he asked President Bush W to what he could do to help foster care. So they made him the national spokesperson for foster care and adoption. And so he would go to the courts on adoption days. He would throw parties. He would speak up for kids, and he did a lot. He created a website, and it still exists. He funded it, and 38,000 children were able to find adoptive homes to this point.
Wow, through that one website.
Yes, and so I'm doing a documentary about Bruce.
Oh, wow.
And his work in foster care. Yeah, I'm doing it with some other people. I'm directing it.
Really? Oh, you're directing it?
Yes.
Okay. All right. Writing?
If there's need to be writing, I'm sure they're going to have to be
writing. Yeah. There's always a need to be writing, right?
Yeah.
I always say that. You got to have a story, right? I think William Shakespeare said the play's the thing.
Yeah.
And I always say if you're boring in real life, you're going to be boring on Facebook. If you're boring on Facebook, you'll be boring on TikTok.
Yeah.
It's not the platform, it's the story, right?
That's right. Yep.
How do you find a story? I mean, obviously you started with yourself, but you've worked on many other projects, including what you're working on now with Bruce. How do you find a story that calls you? Because once you start writing, that's going to be a big investment of your time and energy and spirit.
Yes. I'm writing a new book also. It's called The Truth Inside My Memory Collage. And next year, early next year, yeah.
Poetry, prose,
screenplays. All of it. Yeah, why not? This is words. I think, I'm telling you, when I was a kid, I was...
why not? It's just words. I'm sorry, I had to go circle back to that because I think I'm going to steal that or, refrain it, make it into a refrain. Why not? It's just words.
Yeah, I have like I think 30-something thousand words in my new manuscript right now. If I had to pay for every word, if it was $1 a word, I might not be able to afford to write that book. But it's free, right?
It's free, yeah.
Yeah, you write your feelings, I think, when I was living at the orphanage and I wanted to say things, I was very quiet. I'm very loquacious today, but I'm a very quiet person. I would write down my feelings. If somebody upset me, I would write down what I wanted to say to them, and then I would rip up and go all around the orphanage and put a little bit in this trash can, a little bit in this trash can.
Wow.
So I discovered writing early, really early. And because I was so observant, I think between those two things and the desire to, I came in there where I didn't have any letters of introduction, right? So I had to try to make myself palatable. And I thought that if I could speak, have a better collection of words, like my diction and vocabulary was better. And so I worked on it. And what I did was I decided who spoke well and who didn't, but I collected everything. So it helps me when I write, because when I create characters, I have a catalog of voices that I can write from, because I remember the people and I remember their cadence and all that.
That's very, very fascinating. You created a collection of people that you decided were the people you wanted to model your own vocabulary and diction after.
Yeah.
And then you kind of captured them in your imagination and you still keep them there.
Yes, and I use it. And,
I
you know,
don't suppose you'd share any of those folks.
No.
It's
weird.
I had a feeling that was a dead end question,
It's
but I
weird.
had to ask.
It's weird. You know, my favorite is my foster mother.
Really?
Yeah, she had a very melodic way of speaking, and you know, and we all know that voice. And when she would say, "Lord have mercy," which was one of her opening phrases to a lot of things, when she was going to say something, she would sing it. She would go, "Lord have mercy,"
Oh yeah,
and then she'd back it up with, "Shut up your mouth."
Wow.
That was her.
And it's still in your brain. It's still in your body.
Yeah.
But what's beautiful is that it seems like you've been able to keep the memories and keep, you know, what affection and what you have that you appreciate, and let go of some of the anger and some of the trauma.
But you keep it and you keep everything, because, you know, in writing sometimes the experiences that you have in life is what you write from. Sometimes you know, if you're writing and you're writing something that is painful, it should make you feel the effects of what pain, the kind of pain would happen. If you write a whole novel about life and you don't cry while you're writing, then, or you don't feel like, oh, I have to stop now because this is getting too much for me. And people like to feel. People like to cry. They may not like to cry in public, because I'm telling you, this is something I discovered. Another thing I discovered when I was a kid: crying helps. Because I would go into the garage sometime, and I couldn't be around my friends. And I wrote about this. One time I was with my friends, and I just felt it coming over me, because I had already let the gate stay open. But after, like, that, I realized how I felt like I had gotten baptized sometimes.
It's a release.
And it's like one of those ways you can let off the steam. Some people are so built up, they're so angry because they're holding on to all these things. There's several ways to let off steam. Writing is one. If you play guitar, you have to do something artistic.
Work out, dance.
Yeah, dance, do all that. But crying is a I don't want like everybody start crying or look at me when they see me on the street go like, yeah, big crybaby. But I'm not.
No,
it's just real.
But
right?
but also that's one of the traps I think we have as Black folks, is that we are always trying to suck it up and keep it moving.
Yeah.
You know, and sometimes we don't allow ourselves to cry or express whatever we need to express, even if it's go outside and cry, go in the shed or whatever, wherever you got to go.
You get yourself a good spanking. You feel good the next day. You know, it was another thing about, I was talking to Tavis one time in this very studio, right? And, no, I wasn't talking to Tavis. I was talking to Steve Harvey is what I'm thinking of.
Okay.
Yeah, it was downtown. Now, Steve Harvey grew up around the corner from me.
Yeah, you know that I worked with him for years. I was one of his sidekicks, I guess you'll call it, on the radio. Yeah, so you grew up around the corner from him in Ohio.
Yeah, and he doesn't feel the way I feel about Glenville, the community we came from. And I think a part of... I'm
laughing because he talked a lot of smack, even though he's proud to be from Ohio.
Yeah, well, he told me, you know, because I always looked at the natural parts of Cleveland. You know, like I love the trees, I love the Midwestern breeze. We live
the Buckeye trees.
Yeah, we lived by Lake Erie, and it was nice, you know. But Steve, he doesn't look at that part. I guess he said, man, if you thought that was great, you were really abused. That's what he was saying. Oh, God, Steve, it wasn't even that bad.
Because he always talks about it being very ghetto. So I suppose
they named that ghetto street after him. He grew up there. So they like that.
I did not know that.
Yes, they
wow. Did. Antwone Fisher is my guest. He's got a new book out, and he is signing it. Also, you're welcome. Our Authors Study Club welcomes you to bring Finding Fish or whatever other books you have. He'll sign those too, as long as they're by him. He's not going to sign Langston Hughes.
Or what was that book
Steve Harvey
had?
Think like a man.
And act like a woman. Act like a man.
Yeah, something like that. Antwone Fisher is my guest. We'll continue the conversation when we come forward on KBLA Talk 1580.
More of First Things First with Dominic DePrima when we come forward.
Let me tell you something about Los Angeles. This city doesn't have small problems, so it damn sure doesn't need small, weak leadership. That's why I support Karen Bass. She walked into a system that was slow, broken, and reluctant to change. She cut through red tape and started moving people off the streets into housing. She created the Office of Community Safety to make our neighborhoods safer, supported wage increases for many underpaid workers, expanded contract opportunities for small minority business, and signed an executive order to give formerly incarcerated people a second chance. Karen Bass is about real change. I'm Samuel L. Jackson, and I've seen a lot of people talk tough. Karen Bass is tough. That's why I'm voting for Karen Bass, and you should too. So vote today. You received your ballot in the mail by now. You don't even have to go to the polls. Just fill out your ballot and hand it to your postal worker. No stamp needed.
Paid for by Re-elect Karen Bass for Mayor 2026, 445 South Figueroa Street, Suite 2400, Los Angeles, California, 90071. Funding details at ethics.lacity.gov.
My name is Cynthia Mitchell. I've been an emergency room nurse in Los Angeles County for 25 years. I've been there through every fire season, every outbreak, every earthquake. Every time Los Angeles needed us, the doctors and nurses of Los Angeles County showed up. And right now, I'm seeing another disaster coming. Trump's cuts to Los Angeles County's healthcare system are a public health crisis in the making. Medi-Cal, public hospitals, disaster preparedness are all at risk, but we can stop it. Measure ER fights back against these cuts. For a half a penny, we keep emergency rooms open, care within reach for working families, and doctors and nurses serving the communities we love. When you vote yes on Measure ER, you're not just voting for healthcare, you're voting for LA. Vote yes on Measure ER by June 2nd.
Ad paid for by Yes on ER, Restore Healthcare for Angelinos, sponsored by St. John's Community Health and Health Justice Action Fund. Ad committee top funder, St. John's Community Health.
Javier Becerra isn't new to the fight for progress. In Congress, he helped write and pass Obamacare. As Attorney General, he sued Trump over 120 times and won. As Secretary of Health, Becerra took on special interests and lowered drug costs. Endorsed by Planned Parenthood and nurses, Javier Becerra is the fighter we need and the leader we can trust to tackle California's affordability crisis, build more affordable housing, and stop Trump when he violates our civil rights. Ad paid for by Becerra for Governor 2026.
Let's be real. For too long, too many of our students have sat in overcrowded classrooms in underfunded public schools.
But as head of the San Diego School Board, Richard Barrera changed that.
Under Barrera's leadership, student literacy rose from the state average all the way to #1 among major urban school districts. Barrera led the way for smaller classrooms and for teachers to be paid what they're worth.
Barrera funded more counselors and mental health services, and community schools that teach real-world skills for future jobs.
A community organizer who became an education leader to fight for our kids. The only candidate for State Superintendent of Public Instruction.
Backed by the 310,000 classroom educators of the California Teachers Association. Vote Democrat Richard Barrera for State Superintendent.
Ad paid for by California Teachers Association Independent Expenditure Committee, not authorized by a candidate or committee controlled by a candidate.
The conversation continues right now with Dominic DePrima on First Things First.
Highways Performance Space, that's where he'll be on Sunday. It's 3 to... the reception starts at 3, the film starts at 4, and the moderated discussion starts at 6. And that's our author study club and a bunch of other folks that are convening this gathering.
Bill Haley, right?
Yes, Bill Haley is actually moderating the discussion, right?
Yes.
Absolutely.
If people don't know who he is, he's
Alex Haley's grandson.
That's right, and he's a real nice guy.
Okay, well, that's always a good thing, too. That's a good thing, too. It's Foster Care Month, yes. And this is they're closing out Foster Care Month, the last day of the month on Sunday. And you continue to be an advocate. You were talking about this documentary little that you're working on about that. One of the things that we've spoken a lot about is people on this show is people being aged out of foster care. I know that, for example, our current mayor, when she was in the assembly and when she was in Congress, did a lot of work around helping change the laws so that foster youth can get more support when they turn 18, so that kinship care can, families, an auntie or a cousin who takes in a child can get the same support that a stranger would get. Do you think that things have gotten better?
Probably, yes. I worked with her at that time. That's when I first met her, Mayor Bass, during that time when she was doing that in Congress. But yes, when I aged out of foster care, my social worker showed up at the place where I was and told me that I was being emancipated. This was the day after I graduated from high school. And I said, well, what is that, emancipated? He said, I'll tell you on the way back to Ohio. They sent me to Pennsylvania. So on the way, he told me, well, it means that you're going to have to take care of yourself. In 2 months, you'll be 18, but we're going to take care of you. Basically, they got a room for me at a men's shelter. And so they were going to pay for it for 2 months, but during that time I had to find a job because when I turned 18, they were going to leave it to myself. Well, I started meeting other kids I knew from foster care who were also basically on the street, and all the hustlers and everybody was waiting for the foster kids every year. In June, they would graduate from high school, and there was nothing else after foster care. But nowadays there is. If you can go to college, I know that you can go straight into college and live there all year round. That wasn't that way back then. Some kids can stay in foster care even longer, into their 20s, until they get themselves together. So a lot of things have changed from the time when I was in. The way we were let go, this is how criminals are made.
Yeah.
And some of those people who were waiting for us knew we were going to hit the streets in June, and they were waiting. And some of them have been foster kids, hustlers.
Wow. So
pimps.
Clearly there's more work to do, but at least we're moving in the right direction.
Oh, light years away from that time. It's so much better, and it really makes me feel good to see. And I'm always surprised, like, wow, they get to do this. They can do that.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much for spending the hour with us this morning. Tell folks, how can we follow you? Are you on social media? Do you post? Do you have a website?
Yes. I am Antwone Fisher on Instagram and GlenvilleHousePress.com. They can buy the book at GlenvilleHousePress.com. And just put my name in Google and everything come up.
Hey, right. Then ask Dr. Google. Again, congratulations on your new book. And folks, you can see him in person in Santa Monica on Sunday. All right, Tavis Smiley's up next. He's got a fully loaded show for you on deck, and you do not want to miss it. Tap in with me on social media as well. I'm at DiPrima Radio, DiPrima, and then radio. I'm everywhere. Like my mama, the late Diane DiPrima used to say, she was the poet laureate of San Francisco. She used to say, history is now. I like to say we're making it together. Don't forget to join me tomorrow when Mayor Bass will be on to talk about her re-election campaign. And also we'll get Attorney Carrie Harper to give us the scoop on all of these judges. I'm Dominique DiPrima. Until tomorrow, be safe, be well. One love.
KBLA 1580 Santa Monica.
I'm Bree Wood with BIN News Now. Police in Southern California report several arrests during evacuations tied to a chemical incident. Guarding